Hi, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle, and today we're going to work on a viewer project here. The project involves a reel that was just mailed in to me. Oops, something fell. It comes from Dan, and this says that he's got this reel. He thinks it's an Ocean City reel. It doesn't have the Ocean City badging on it. Doesn't have any drags working, and can I fix it? Can I restore it? And let's find out if it is an Ocean City reel, I guess. Oops, I guess we had a handle screw fall off. That handle screw doesn't look like an Ocean City handle screw. It looks like a pen screw. Put it in the parts bucket. Loose handle, no drag. Turning, that's okay. Loose assembly. Let's see what we got. So the badging very much looks like an Ocean City. It reads 422. It says Surf Queen. And it says made in Philadelphia. So Philadelphia might be an indication there that it's Ocean City, but it's not branded as an Ocean City. It looks very much like the Ocean City reel. Here's an Ocean City reel that's branded Ocean City. This happens to be a 949. It's an Ocean City, and it looks pretty much the same. So let's see, you line them up side by side. The bearing caps are the same, front and back. So we're going to assume this has got an Ocean City interior, and that it was just a trade brand for a department store or something. So let's take it apart. We'll show you how to service it. If it needs drags, we'll replace the drags, and we'll take it as best we can to restore this reel and get out there and get fishing again. So the handle just kind of fell off. That was interesting. It doesn't look like it's the proper nut. I'll get an Ocean City handle nut for that. We're going to take the star adjuster off. Got that off. We'll take the side plate screws out next. So Ocean City and Penn in the 40s and 50s and 60s, they were both manufacturing out of Philadelphia. As story goes, the founder of Penn worked at Ocean City for a while before he went over to form Penn Reels. The Penn obviously is taken from Pennsylvania, William Penn. And Ocean City made a lot of reels that were very dependable reels. And eventually they were acquired by True Temper, and then they were discontinued. So the reels are solid reels. They include the smaller format like this, which lines up with the Penn Beachmaster series. And they also made the larger series, the 112s and 113s. Yes, this is very much an Ocean City reel here. We'll go ahead and take this apart, and we'll check for the drags. And we may be lucky. If it does need drags, this particular model, I believe, uses the 155 drag that also fits Penn. So if it does, we'll be in luck. If not, we're going to have to go fashion something. And then we just have the spool, which shows its wear, but it's a metal spool, and as long as it's in alignment, it doesn't matter that we have the greening and there. And the back end of this is just that bearing side plate. So I'm going to go ahead and just take care of the non-gear side quickly, just to get that out of the way. I'm going to take a little bit of blue grease and just place that into the bearing. And I'm also going to place a little bit on the click mechanism. Just grab that spool. We'll also put that behind there just to get that out of the way. And let's go over to the Ocean City side of this game then. So it's the gear side plate. In order to get this gear side plate off, we need to take the yoke, the spool gear, and the jack off. The jack comes off by removing this little, not removing, but loosening this little screw here. And then it's just got a little hook, almost like a hook and eye kind of a thing. And you just have to release that. Sometimes it gets caught on the ledge there. It's getting caught on the ledge of the side plate. Just pull that up a little bit, and then you can remove the jack. First by slipping it out. Oh, that hook got caught again. It's a little tricky thing there. I've got this flipped the wrong way. There we go, let's get it up there. Should just be able to pull it over and up. There we go. Pull it over and up, and it comes off the stud on the eccentric. Goes into my parts bin. And then we can remove the yoke. There's a carrier here on the yoke, and then the spool gear goes behind it. It actually sits in the carrier. So it's not a one-piece spool gear, it's two. And that's kind of the way that that works. We'll put that in there for now. And then we can remove the bridge. Now the bridge is only held on by 2 screws. We don't have to pull the 2 screws up top here, which you would do for the pen. They do hold the springs and the guide for the jack, but you do not need to remove them to remove the gear sleeve. So let's go ahead and take that off. There's 2 below here. One on each side. If you have a ferrule, we can pull out of there. And then push through. Now you don't have to worry on this one. The spring is an integral part of the bridge, so the spring shouldn't shoot anywhere. You can just kind of pull it out like we did there. And here's your 2 bridge screws that hold that on. Now the bridge screws actually attach to a little ferrule here. So if this thing pops out, just know that that's the way it should be. And here's our main gear with the drag assembly inside. And here's your click mechanism, which is part of the bridge assembly itself. And here's that spring I was talking about, so that doesn't shoot off. Okay, let's see if we can't take the drag stack off and see what we have here. This is very much a drag assembly that looks like a pen assembly. We should be able to work these out. I'm just going to keep these in an order, just so that you're aware of it. Okay, there's your drag stack, and we have that hard washer below, very much standard kind of stuff. Here's the drag assembly. Yeah, we've got old drag washers in here that are very worn. They've lost their flexibility. We'll replace them, and we'll assume that's, yep, they're just kind of sticking to each other here. We'll just assume that's the cause of the bad drags. And these drag assemblies from bottom to top line up, yep, just like a pen. And we're going to be hopeful here. These look like the washers that fit the Pen 155. It's hard to get replacement washers for the Ocean City reels. You really have to measure them and to go to a site like Smooth Drag. But I'm going to grab a Pen 155 drag and see. This is a 6155 if you're ordering the parts. These are newer. Let's just see if it fits in the shell here. Yeah, it does. So we're in luck here. We can replace the drags on this as part of the service. And if that's been the problem here for Dan, then we're going to be fixing his problem for him. The problem with these reels is that parts are no longer available. And these reels are, quite honestly, they're 40 or 50 years old. So no shame on anybody for that. It's just that if you're a fan of these reels, or if they have some sentimental value or something, then you would like to keep them maintained or at least restore them. Okay, one more part of the service on the bridge before I put this back in. Let's go pull the gear sleeve, and we can do that just like you would do the other one. There's a pin here that holds inside of a ridge. Pull the pin. Hold that pin, don't lose that pin. Then you can remove the gear sleeve. And here's our little ridge that it rides in. You just want to make sure this is clean. I'm going to take a paper towel and just kind of clean that off, just to make sure that if there was anything that was impeding the progress, that it's fixed. Here's the anti-reverse dog, and again, this spring that's operating it on the other side. And once that's been cleaned on the shaft and you got any residue out of that, just go ahead and put the gear sleeve back on. Now here you have to move the jack, the anti-reverse dog. You saw one of those little holding collars just kind of fall out. Then we can push the pin back in. And when you push that pin back in, make sure it clears the shoulder, otherwise the gear isn't going to go on easy. We've done that. We're going to take the gear then, and we're going to load up with fresh drags. We're going to use these the pen drags. We're going to use some Cal's drag grease on that. And then we're going to replace the worn ones with new ones. Put a little bit on each side. You notice I have a latex glove here. I use that. I'm going to use it as a tool right now just to coat that washer. I'm going to go ahead and put that washer in there. And again, you saw how we set these up, so that's the bad one. We're going to go put that off to the side. We'll give it back to Dan in case he needs to use them in the future. I'm going to put all fresh ones in here, but I guess they probably have just enough integrity to them that they could be reused if needed in an emergency. All right, I'm going to put the grease onto the second one now. Now the second one with the metal gets the eared or keyed washer. That's this one with the 2 points on it. That sits inside the grooves in the main gear as such. Then the last of the drag washers gets a nice healthy dose of drag grease. The last of the metal ones goes on. And the cap washer goes on. All kind of standard stuff from rebuilding the drag washers. Then we've got that little ferrule or holding cup. It's got a little nut on the back, I guess, if you wanted to use the nut. That last of the worn washers to that parts bucket there. I got one extra of the 155s that must have fallen out. We'll go put that back into my sleeve so that it can be used a different day. All right, I can close up my grease, and let's go reassemble this reel and see if we can fix that problem there. So reverse order then. You put the main gear in first. And again, you don't have to worry about setting the anti-reverse dog because that's been preset on here and the spring is in position. With this now, you want to hold those 2 nuts there. Grab the collars for those, or grab the screws for those rather. Insert them into the collar. Now, if you had trouble, if those nuts were turning, you could always get a small wrench or a pliers or something to hold it. That's why I like to keep my fingers on them. One, they don't pop out, and secondly, you feel if they're turning inside because they are smooth. There's nothing to hold them there other than the screw pulling that in. And just make sure that it's tightened all the way down. Tighten that all the way down and just give it a turn to make sure nothing's impeding the action there. All right, then we're going to go ahead and put the gear and the yoke back on. So the gear is set in here. It's toothed into this side, so there's nothing really going on there. A little bit of blue grease into the teeth of the gear. It's going to turn with the main gear. A little bit of grease onto the yoke. And that's going to ride in the channel of this carrier here. And then if you get stuck on this one, there's a flat side under these posts. Those flat sides need to be facing inward. You can see it a little bit better here. Once I'm able to push it down, you can see that we have a flat channel here. And that's for the carrier. So if this isn't going in, if the jack isn't going in, it's because it's not running against inside those slots. So make sure as you go to reinstall that those are correct. Sometimes those turn during disassembly and the like, and then you simply slip this inside the 2 slots, and then you can bring this hook and eye back over, and then you can tighten down on the set screw there that holds that little carrier, and then do a turn, make sure everything's working. So right now, I would say we're in pretty good stead with this reel, and I would expect that his drag issue is going to be resolved with this. So let's go ahead and put a little bit of grease on here too. We didn't get grease inside that spool gear, so a little bit of grease there. And then we can reinstall this. Now, on this side plate is very similar to the pen from a screw setup. If you weren't paying attention, there's 2 short screws. That's a short screw. And the rest of them are long screws. The longer screws go into the side posts, and the short screws go into the reel seat. Now, what I like to do in setting these up is, I think I just put the short screw into the side there. Just take it out to be sure. Nope, I got a long one in there. Okay, I like to go alternating side to side, up and down, just to get the side plate on square. So I'll do kind of north and south here. I'll go back to this side, put that one in. And after I did north and south, I can do, oh, we don't have a west on this. Let's do east as the reel seat. That'll keep the tension proper across the reel so that you don't have anything buckling there. And you're going to do the two longer ones that go back into the other side plates. And this is the beauty of the parts tray. Now you know where all your pieces and parts are because you're just reaching into the bucket to grab those screws. One on that side, one on this side, and then I should have a short one left for the reel seat. And that'll be basically the reassemble with the exception of trying to take care of that handle. Okay, the ferrule goes on next. And then next up is the star drag adjuster. And sometimes these are difficult. These posts take a beating. Sometimes they don't go on easy. You'll see it starting to spin now. And what you need to do is you need to grab that. Usually with a screwdriver, there's a slot in here. You can usually get a screwdriver blade that's going to fit that slot. Kind of turn it until you get enough of a grab. Where the handle can take over. It's not an easy task on this one. This one's been worn. I might be able to grab it with the handle now. Just be patient when you're doing this. It's you don't want to bugger up that. Don't have enough to grab it yet. And that's just because this assembly with the nut, and maybe it has something to do with that pen, what appears to be a pen nut there. There we go, now I can grab it. So you can see I'm kind of using the handle as my leverage point now to get this through. There we go, now we're okay. All right, so now we have this screw, and I'm convinced this screw doesn't belong with this reel. I'm gonna go grab a Ocean City nut here. Here's one. And grab an Ocean City handle nut, handle wrench. All right. I don't have too many Ocean City parts, but there's a few. So this is the wrench that usually gets onto an Ocean City handle. This is an older one. And this is the handle nut that should go there. If you remember, we took the sleeve off. We didn't put any lubrication on the sleeve. Now is a good time to put some oil in there. Just a drop of oil. It'll keep that bridge sleeve lubricated. Go grab this Ocean City handle screw nut now. Now they give you this handle nut wrench, or handle screw wrench. On the Ocean City handle. It was one of those fun things they did from a design standpoint that I like. I believe it's a 13 millimeter nut. This one's a little tough to use because when you have it high, it's kind of a balancing act. It seems to fall through. But this nut, I believe, is a 13 millimeter nut. So I'm just going to try a 13 millimeter wrench. There you go. We can wrench it down with that. Well, this one's fitting easy. We'll have a tight handle, that's for sure. And just to go old school now, and shouldn't slip through, we'll go grab the handle wrench. And we'll go tighten that down the rest of the way. Then we'll give it a trial, see what we got here. Now we got a nice turn. The screw a little bit. A nice turn on our spool. Nice turn on the reel. I like that. Let's see if the drags are holding. Oh boy, the drags are holding. So there you go. So that's how you do a Surf Queen 422 or an Ocean City 9 series fishing reel. This one's ready to go fishing and can fish for a long time. So Dan, there you go. There's your reel. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you if you did, please like it. If you want to see more, please subscribe. Thank you for viewing. This is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle.